A very good afternoon and welcome to Engineer Lavneesh Salwar, Head of Department of Electrical Engineering, YCT, Engineer Dinesh Gupta, President of IIC Cell and Dean of Academics, YCT Jammu, Engineer Shafkat Mughal, Resource Person and Head of Department of Electrical Engineering, Baba Ghulam Shah Badshah University, Jammu and Kashmir, and students of Electrical Engineering Department and CSE Department, YCT Jammu. Together, we are here to conduct a webinar on solar energy technology under the IIC cell of YCT Jammu. Department of Electrical Engineering was established in YCT in 2013. This department conducts various activities, and today's webinar on solar energy technology is a part of those activities. First of all, I would like to invite Head of Department, Electrical Engineering, Engineer Lavneesh Talwar, for the welcome address.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ashley. It is audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. So on the behalf of entire team of Yogananda College of Engineering and Technology, I, Lavneesh Talwar, Head of the Department, Yogananda College of Engineering and Technology, heartfully welcome our resource person for the day, Dr. Shafkat Nabi Mudgal. I also welcome the President IIC Cell and Dean Academics Engineer Dinesh Gupta, sir, the students of Electrical Engineering Department as well as the CSC Department on this day. Shafkat Mulgar sir is working as Assistant Professor or HOD in the Department of Electrical Engineering, Baba Ghulam Shah Badshah University, Rajouri. He has done his BE in Electrical Engineering from Government College of Engineering and Technology in the year 2008. He has completed his MTech in Power System from NIT Hamirpur in 2011. He's also pursuing PhD in Electrical Engineering from NIT Hamirpur. Shafkat Mughal sir has more than 10 years of teaching experience and research experience. He has published more than 40 research publications in various journals, book chapters, and conferences, indexed in IAC, Scopus, and UGC Extra. He has conducted and attended more than 50 faculty development programs. His area of research are renewable energy, technology, machine learning, etc. He is a receptionist of the top of 50 Distinguished Researcher Award by Green Thinkers in 2020. He is a live member of IEEE, IEI, and ISTE. He has completed 4 research projects to the tune of 11.58 lakh funded by NPIU. One thing that I will tell you, all the students to be present there within the shortest span of time. When I invite Shafkat sir to deliver this lecture, he accept my proposal, he accept my invitation in a very short duration of time. And I am very extremely thankful to Dr. Shafkat sir, who spared the valuable time for us and delivered today's seminar on solar energy technology. Sir, I welcome you on the behalf of entire team of Yogananda College of Engineering and Technology. Thank you so much. Over to Ashley.
Yeah, thank you, Lavneesh. Thank you very much. So I will start. Good evening, one and all. First of all,
Shafkat sir, sorry to interrupt you. We have only one. We have also speech by our IIC cell as well as the Dean Academics, Sir Dinesh sir. After that, you can start, sir.
Okay, sure, no issues.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you,
sir. Now I would like to invite Engineer Dinesh Gupta, President of IIC Cell YCT and Dean of Academics, to say a few words about this webinar.
Thanks, Ashley. Am I audible?
Perfectly. Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon to one and all present online. Today's speaker, Engineer Shafkat Mughal, HOD in the Department of Electrical Engineering at Baba Ghulam Shah Badshah University, Rajouri. Engineer Lavneesh Talwar, HOD in the Department of Electrical Engineering at Yogananda College of Engineering and Technology. Faculty members and my dear students, a very warm afternoon. I, Dinesh Gupta, feel honored and privileged to be part of this session. Dear students, I would like to tell you one thing, that Engineer Shafkat is a busy man. He has done so much research on this topic and even written, presented and published so many research papers on solar energy power and even delivered so many lectures on this topic. So you should take benefit from this session, but make sure that this session should be interactive rather than one-sided. As this activity is IIC related activity, I would like to tell you one thing, that this year Our college is ranked second among all the IIC institutions and universities in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. And we were ranked third last year. As solar power energy is a fast developing industry in India, so you all can take benefit from this developing industry. India is almost producing 39 gigawatt of solar energy and is ranked 5th after China, USA, Japan, and Germany. And even India has the largest solar power park by the name Badla Solar Park in Rajasthan. Thanks for listening me, and over to Azli. Thanks, Shafkat sir, for accepting our invitation, and welcome at Yogananda College of Engineering and Technology. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. My pleasure.
Okay, over to Azli.
Okay.
Thank you, Dinesh sir. Now, I would like to call upon the resource person, Engineer Shafkat Mughal, to start the proceedings of the day.
Thank you. Before I start the presentation, I would like to thank Professor A.K.O. Shrivastava, Director, YCET, Engineer Dinesh Gupta, President, IIC Cell, and HOD Electrical Engineering, Engineer Lavnish Talwar, sir. It is my privilege that you invited me for speaking on the topic solar energy technology. And I am very happy that today we have assembled here, and we would be it would be just like Dinesh sir has mentioned, that it would be an interactive session. So I expect the students will ask their queries, and I would be very happy to answer them. As he clearly mentioned, that solar energy is a booming technology, and we have certain roles that we can perform by adopting this kind of a technology. So I will start this lecture. So basically, what is solar energy? We all know that the biggest source of solar energy is basically the sun. And we know that in the sun, there are reactions going on. The hydrogen atoms are combining each other, they're forming the helium. This process is basically known as nuclear fusion. And during this process, there is enormous amount of energy that is being liberated. And it is this energy that if we are able to trap, then we can almost do whatever the works that we are doing from some non-conventional energy sources that can be taken care of. Basically, if you look at the spectrum of solar radiation, sun emits radiation from X-rays, then UV, infrared, microwaves, and radio waves. So enormous amount of energy is having different wavelengths and different band gaps. So it is completely, liberating its energy. Now, out of this whole energy, if you see that it is being calculated that 174 petawatts of energy is being liberated by the sun, and it is reaching to the earth. Out of this total energy, 89 is absorbed by land and oceans, and almost it is half of the energy that earth is receiving. This is the energy that we have been using continuously for many years. You can see that we are using for various purposes, like the salt is being dried by using this phenomena, the sand is being dried by using this phenomena. We are putting our clothes into the outside, and due to the heat of the sun, our clothes are getting dried up. And this energy, if you can take a look at the solar map of India, this energy, different regions have been located by different colors, showing that which region is receiving more amount of solar radiations. Now, if you go maximum 6.6 to, there's a screen, So almost 7 kilowatt hour per square meter of energy is being received by the areas which are marked in brown color. And we are very fortunate that certain areas of Jammu and Kashmir, they are also receiving good amount of solar radiation. And it is this solar radiation that is being responsible for the generation of electricity or for the doing of certain works that we will be discussing in coming few slides. Now, these are some of the important applications of solar energy, where solar energy is used as a resource, like we used for architecture and urban planning. You must have heard about, in Ladakh, there is a Sekmol school. And in the Sekmol school, they have beautifully used this architecture and urban planning for their school or for their hill universities there. Also, if you take a look at agriculture and horticulture, you must have seen that there are solar water pumps which are being fetched by this solar energy, and this phenomenon is going on. And we also use solar energy for heating, cooling purposes, ventilation purposes. We have in our houses, we have windows, and we have certain insulation mechanism by which we are, made the solar radiation to enter into the room, and then we wanted to, heat the room at certain temperature levels. For cooking, we have solar cookers. And then there is a fuel production using solar energy, like hydrogen cells are there. There's certain phenomena which takes place inside the solar radiation. And most importantly, out of all, there is electricity generation from solar. That will actually our aspect being an electrical engineer or being an engineer. Now, basically, we use solar energy in two ways. The first way is known as thermal solar energy. Now, what is basically this? You must have seen that there are certain, boilers installed at your in hostels or in your places. Solar geysers, they are known as solar geysers. What basically happens in a solar geyser, the heat of the solar energy or the sun is being utilized for heating up the water. And that water could be maintained at a certain degree level of temperature, and then they can be utilized. It will save our lot of amount of energy. Apart from this type of solar energy, there is a concept of photovoltaic solar energy. This is basically the broader aspect of using the solar energy, whereby a solar panel or a solar cell is utilized, which is converting the solar energy into electricity using certain, various balance of energy material things like a collector. You will use a converter, or you use a battery for, having certain power. Now, this photovoltaic energy, if you talk about photovoltaic electricity, is composed of two words, photo and light. Photo means, photovoltaic effect that, solar energy is being utilized for converting the solar energy into electricity. And you will use additional certain components like battery, regulator, and load, obviously. Now, if you take a look at the solar panel, this is the important component of solar energy production. Now, what solar panel does, it is composed of several minute cells, which are known as solar cells. These solar cells are connected serially or parallelly depending upon the solar panel structure, and this gives a dedicated desired output. Now, there are mainly two types of technologies for manufacturing these solar panels. The first technology is monocrystalline solar panels, and another is polycrystalline solar panels. Now, in mono, if you talk about monocrystalline solar panel, the crystal of the silicon, they are made up of from one particular crystal. And in poly, several different types of crystals are put together. So this makes polycrystalline solar panel. Apart from, just take a look, mono is manufactured by this process which is known as Czochralski process. What we do in this process, we use silicon, silica, which is basically found in sand, and then we heat up at certain levels of temperature and we do doping. The doping is then, we do certain manufacturing and use smelter and dump. Basically, this is the mechanism by which the silicon is being utilized for manufacturing the solar cells. The process is known as Czochralski process. Now, there are certain advantages with monocrystalline solar panel. As I already spoke about, that monocrystalline solar panel is made from a single crystal. So one thing is made from a single crystal is giving it a higher efficiency, and it is giving it a good heat resistance, and it requires a small space. So there are certain disadvantages also, like mono, since it involves only one crystal, so it is very expensive, and you require high amount of crystal material. So it means high amount of silicon would be requiring. So And in the process of this, a high amount of embodied energy means total energy is required for producing such kind of a solar panel. It means monocrystalline is good solar panel, but it is costly and the process takes large amount of energy. Now, how it is different from polycrystalline, this is a thing to discuss. Polycrystalline, on the other side, is composed of different crystals. There is not a single crystal. It is a different type of a material which are put together, silicon, but different crystals. So it makes the structure non-uniform. There is a uniformity. There is no uniformity as we saw in monocrystalline solar panel. With this, these kinds of solar panels deliver efficiency less than the efficiency of the monocrystalline solar panels. And it is giving an advantage also that it is less costly as compared to monocrystalline. Now, there is certain disadvantages as if efficiency is concerned, because the crystal is now not uniform. It is not a single crystal, it is a multiple crystals are joined together. So it is less efficient, and it also, it requires large amount of silicon material for producing same amount of energy. Now, if you wanted to, see the visible difference between mono and soly, this polycrystal, then the mono is basically black. You can see I have shown the picture, monocrystalline solar silicon or solar panel is black in color. And the other one is blue. It is giving you a shape of a blue color. So, and you can see visible also a difference. Now, there is a third variety of solar panel also. It is known as thin film solar panels. It is made by depositing one or more layers, thin layers of photovoltaic material on a substrate. Now, what are these substrate basically? It could be cadmium telluride, cadmium, indium gallium, selenide, amorphous silicon. These are the three important thin film technologies. Now, there are certain advantages with respect to it is very easy to manufacture thin films, and it has a very good application, but there are certain disadvantages which are basically low efficiency, and their life is also very, very short. And there is also fourth class of solar panel, which is known as amorphous silicon solar panel. Now, they are manufactured from that kind of a silicon which is not having any definite arrangement of atoms. Now, there are certain advantages, like they are shade tolerant, they are effective in hotter climate. Basically, a mono or a polycrystalline solar panels, their power output is dependent upon solar radiation as well as on temperature. But if you take an amorphous silicon, although the efficiency is very, very less, but it is resistant to change with respect to the change in climate. So if you have a large amount of space, then you can go for amorphous type of silicon solar panel, although it requires a large space, but it will be a temperature resistant. And then there's disadvantages. Obviously, the efficiency is less. That's why you require large area for producing same amount of power. Now, this is the crystality, which you can see the differences between the crystal of all the four technologies. Silicon, single crystal, multi-crystalline, many types of crystals. Now, this is actually their chemistry. Now, if you take a look at the differences, now you can visualize that in monos, efficiency is maximum out of the all. And because it is made up of single crystal, and its performance is very, very good, and it requires less amount of area for delivering higher power. Although it has a disadvantage that its cost is higher, and there are few manufacturers. But if you take a look at the polycrystalline, this efficiency lies between that of mono and thin film. But it is manufactured from different variety of silicon materials, due to which its performance is moderate, and it requires less area as compared to thin films, but more as compared to mono, and its cost is midway between the two. Now, if you go in the market and you wanted to purchase a solar panel, majority, almost 90% of the panels that you will find, they are polycrystalline solar panels. And then this thin film, it is having the least efficiency out of the all, and it requires large amount of area because efficiency is less. So it means more panels need to be installed if you wanted to have same power output from mono or poly, equivalent to them. But the cost is very, very less. But if you take a look on, you purchase more panels, then the cost will escalate. Now, just wanted to give a clear picture what basically solar cell is. A solar cell is actually, it converts solar energy directly into DC. DC means direct electricity. Now the application and the power application is same, like current into voltage, or I square R, or voltage square upon R. Since it it is producing DC, so it is like a battery, because battery supplies DC. But it is fully not like a battery, because its voltage varies. Its voltage is variable, but the voltage of the battery is almost same. You have a 12-volt battery, so it will always deliver 12 volts. But if you take a look at the solar panel, its voltage also varies with respect to the change in the resistance of the load, with respect to the change of the solar radiation they are falling on it. So it is not a fully battery, but it looks like a battery because it is supplying DC. Now this is basically the phenomena of producing these solar cells. Now, if you take a look at the simple solar cell, it is basically a PN junction diode. PN junction diode. It just looks like a PN junction. So in the PN junction, there are certain charge carriers like positive and holes and some electrons. Now, when the sun radiation fall on this P or the N type of materials, there is a drift of electrons and holes. Now this drift, if you can take some two wires out of the two portions from P and N portion, then there is a movement of electrons. And we all know that movement of electrons is known as electric current. This is actually, for the above, the first of all layer, this is basically known as anti-reflection coating. And then there is an N layer, and between there is a PN junction, and this is at the bottom there is a P layer, above there is an N layer. And you can see here, when the solar radiations are falling on this panel, there is a drift of electrons, and earlier there was a barrier between the two. But once the solar radiations have reached to the N layer, the electrons and hole will start moving. So that they basically move through this path, and due to this path, there is a lamp here and it is glowing. So this is basically the working of a silicon solar cell. Now this was just a single cell which was delivering 0.5 volts of voltage and minimal amount of current. It is not of any use. But if you wanted to utilize solar energy for at your own place or for a certain station, then you require many cells. So what we do, these cells are combined in serially and in parallelly. So there are two ways. If you put cells in serially together, it will increase the voltages, and in parallelly it will increase the current. So a solar panel is basically composed of many cells put together in series and parallel, depending upon the desired amount of power that you wanted to, come out of that solar device. Now there is a term which is known as blocking diode. Now, once the sun is in the daytime, the solar panel will deliver you power. But what happens in the night when there is no sun? So what will happen? The battery will start reverse flow of current into the solar panel, which is not required. So you will require a blocking diode, which will stop the reverse flow current so that your panel will not get, any kind of a defect. And there are also one more type of a diode, which is known as bypass diode. Now, as I told you that this solar panel is composed of several cells. Sometimes it may happen that one of the cell will get, it will stop working due to some manufacturing defect or due to some hot spot. Now, what is this hot spot? Basically, one cell has been damaged due to overflow of current. It may happen. Okay, don't get into the detail that why it is happening. Hot spots are often frequent in solar panels. Now, suppose this cell is out of the picture. Now the current was flowing in this path serially like this. Now, if this is now defective, the current will not flow now. So your module will stop working, but it doesn't happen like that. So what you have bypass diodes. If such cases arise whereby one of the cell gets defected, then the bypass diode will bypass the current so that the other part of the panel will work efficiently. So this is the working a bypass panel. Now, the
Sir, kindly unmute yourself, sir.
hello.
It's
Did you
audible.
miss anything so that I will start from that?
You can start now, sir.
Okay, so I was talking about that solar panel is composed of several solar cells. It may happen sometime that one of the solar panel, solar cell will get defected. Then your panel will not give any of our output. So what bypass diode comes into picture? What is the function of a bypass diode is basically one of the cell will get defected. The the other part of the panel should always supply power. So bypass will bypass the current and it will not flow through the defected diode. So it is basically an important aspect of the solar panel. Now, I now know that what solar panel is, how it is delivering power. Now I wanted to go to the market and wanted to purchase solar panel. So what are the specifications that I should look for? There are certain mechanical specifications that you can follow. First of all is, type of a solar panel, whether I should buy mono, poly or thin film. And then I will look for the cell dimension. Like there is a panel, this is the dimension of one cell, this much area. And then there are second cell, third cell. So, the cell dimension always plays an important role, deciding factor for a customer like me, that what type of a size of the cell I want. And then module dimension. Suppose I wanted to install solar panel at my place. Now, first of all, I should look for the area that I have where I can install them. So this will comes under mechanical specification, whereby solar cell type, cell dimension, module dimension will affect my decision. Moreover, the weight is also playing an important role. You don't want to lift too much heavy panel at your own place. Also, what sort of glazing is there? Now, if you purchase a panel from a branded manufacturer, then you can see the difference from the local manufacturer. The whole glazing is very, very sharp in case of branded manufacturer like Sucom, like there are many like luminous solar panels. And if you wanted to buy a local one, you can see the difference. And then you will also see this is the back side of your solar panel. This is known as junction box. And then there are two connectors, male and female connector, which are used to supply power. And apart from these mechanical specification that one should look for, electrical specification are more important. Now, you must understand peak power of a solar panel. Peak power means like this, for example, 195 watt of solar panel. Now this panel will deliver 195 maximum power if operated at certain conditions. Those conditions are known as STC conditions, standard testing conditions. Condition basically means there should be certain amount of radiation falling, like 1000 watt per square meter or 1 kilowatt per square meter radiation. Temperature should be like 25 degree, and there is an air mass, like suppose there is a cloudy atmosphere. In the cloudy atmosphere, the panel will not deliver 195. So because there is a cloud, there is a problem with the solar radiation falling on the solar panel. So now this is the maximum power that you can deliver out of the panel under normal condition. And then there is a voltage. At what voltage, what amount of voltage it is providing, like this VMP. This is maximum voltage provided by this panel. And this is the maximum current which is delivered by this panel for depending upon load. And then there are certain important, protective mechanisms like open circuit voltage. Open circuit is higher than the maximum voltage. You can see maximum voltage was here 36 and open circuit was 45. And short circuit current, sometimes short circuit may happen. So these are protective ranges. You cannot go beyond them, or your solar panel will get defected. Now, these are the, the IV characteristics of a solar panel. IV characteristics mean what are the different, like you can see here, E is equal to 1000 watt per square meter, or E is equal to 800. This is basically talking about solar radiations. Like I told you, 1000 watt per square meter is the standard level. You may sometimes happen, suppose there is a certain amount of sun, there is a cloud. So almost the solar amount of radiation will fall 800, or it is more cloudy, it will go 600, 400, 200. So this is actually deciding the power output, meaning that the current will get lower from the same panel if the amount of radiation will get less. So this is very important factor. And you will see that if your radiations are dropping by 200, 200, 200, you can see the amount of current falling. If there was optimal current, optimal level of radiation is there, then 3 ampere, or it will go down 2.5, 2. So it will give you actually a decision that how my solar panel will behave under different amount of atmospheric condition. This is very important aspects in research. And then obviously module efficiency, you will purchase a module which will be having a good amount of efficiency. Generally, the good manufacturer, they give you the efficiency of 15.3. This is the efficiency of a polycrystalline. But if you wanted to have a monocrystalline, then the efficiency will rise to 19%, 20%. Also, I already spoke about that different temperature will affect power output from the solar panel. If the atmosphere is too hot, then your panel will not produce optimal level of power. And like this, there is a power tolerance. Power tolerance means the ranges, the deviation from normal to the abnormal conditions. What is the variation in the power? So it should be like 5%. And then these are the 3 conditions that I was talking about. STC means standard testing condition. Suppose you are a manufacturer of a solar panel, you have manufactured solar panel. Now, who will tell that your solar panel is a good solar panel? So I will test that. So I will create a radiance, meaning the radiation of 1000 watt per square meter. I will maintain my temperature at 25 degrees and air mass, meaning visibility of solar radiation 1.5. Now this is basically utilized for giving the ratings. And then there is also one more rating which is known as NOCT, nominal operating cell temperature. This is related with change in temperature. How far the temperature will change and your panel will start deviating from its normal power output. And you do find the temperature characteristics on the panels. So it will give you an idea that if my temperature is deviating by 1 degree or 2 degree, what is the level of voltages and the currents that my panel will now, produce. This is basically one of the sheet that clearly gives you a picture. This is the mechanical specification telling the length and the width of the panel, and then these are the IV characteristic curve of the panel, and these are the other specification that we just discussed. So once you go to purchase a solar panel, you must always look for the mechanical as well as the electrical aspect of the characteristics. This will help you to decide the right amount of solar panel that you can buy. And there are certain amount of companies who are producing solar panels, like the 3 that I have used for difference, like Sanyo, Suntech, Trina Solar. So they are the different solar panels of certain capacities and their different electrical properties and the cost as well. And this is also another like mono, poly and thin film. You can see the differences between the power level, the temperature changes. Okay, so I told you already that thin film, these solar panel basically they are very, very important, and they will produce a power output which is resistant to variation in temperature. Now, how to choose a solar panel? Yes, obviously I will look for the different conditions of solar panel, and apart from that I will see my pocket. If I have a large amount of money, I can invest in polycrystalline. sorry, in monocrystalline. And if I have a moderate budget, I will go for poly. And if I have a low budget, so I will go for thin film. So it is the decision entirely lies with the customer. Now, this is the example that I wanted to discuss how to design a PV off-grid system. Like you in your places, you have inverter. Now it is better to use solar energy, solar power output as an inverter. So how can you decide that what sort of ratings are, I should go for meeting my load requirements? Now, this is certain examples. You must first collect data. Now, what is the data? Basically, I told you, there is an important aspect of solar radiation. Solar radiations are not same for every place. I just showed you that there is a solar energy diagram whereby our Jammu and Kashmir was fortunate to receive good amount of solar radiation. Now there are certain areas whereby this you cannot see the sun, like the poles, North Pole, South Pole. You cannot see the sun for majority of the period of the. So if you wanted to have a solar panel, that will be a foolish idea to install solar panel at poles. Since we lies at the equator, and the equator places are variation, there is a variation in the latitude and longitude of the places. So that is the concern. You should go for latitude and longitude of you, so that you will see that what amount of solar radiation are you receiving through the entire year. And then you will see the, like this is a certain house. You mostly install solar panels on the roof. Now this much area is available for installing solar panel. Now you will check the length and the width of the what you call roof, and you will decide that okay, I can install 2 panels of 300 watt capacity or 500 watt capacity. So this will give you an idea that how many load points I can work by installing this kind of a solar system. And then required energy would be equal to how many equipments. You will see the equipments. For example, there is a TV, there is a washing machine, refrigerator. Then you will calculate your load in kilowatt hour. So it will give you an idea whether the 2 panels are sufficient to maintain to deliver this kind of a power. Now let's I would like to give an overview of solar energy, which Dinesh sir has already spoke about. So India stands 5th worldwide solar PV capacity additions. China is leading, and China is immensely leading. And since government is taking a large amount of initiatives, let me tell you that we all know that the atmosphere is behaving very, very peculiarly. The reason is basically there are these carbon dioxide entrainment due to transport and due to power plants like thermal power plants who are delivering enormous amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, thereby disturbing the mechanisms. And because of this, the governments are now forced, mutually, because the atmosphere is common to many countries. So now every country should try to lower this carbon dioxide consumption. So they are going from non-renewable towards renewable energy resources like solar energy. And the government is forcing the states to install at least 2% of solar energy from solar panels. Okay. Now, based on this capacity, they are giving so many kinds of incentives and subsidies. Like you must have heard about JAKEDA, Jammu and Kashmir Development Agency. Every state has 1 or 2 agencies, and there is a MNRE, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, which has a focus that India by 2022, means today is 2021, by next year we must always 100 gigawatt of solar energy should be produced by solar. That is a huge. Now the prices of solar energy has drastically reduced, 80% almost in the last decade. And since we know that there is a less maintenance involved in solar panels, the government is providing subsidy. So you must go for solar so that you will become, a person who is more interested to prevent the carbon dioxide emission into the atmosphere. And the current prices are, getting much and much lesser. Like this is one case the prices were much below, 3 rupees, almost 3 rupees as compared to 12 rupees in 2010. Now, earlier in 2010, if you are having a solar panel, the price was of 1 unit of electricity was 12 rupees, but now the price is 3.5. So you can imagine the power produced by solar generation is now very, very less. It is like almost rupees 3. This phenomenon is known as grid parity, means whatever the price the grid was offering, the solar energy will give you lesser than that. Now, this is actually, the travel of solar energy from 2010 towards 2021. Like earlier, it was mentioned that it is 40 gigawatts. So 40 gigawatts of solar energy has already been achieved by India. This is the target of India. We wanted to achieve 100 gigawatt by next year, which is difficult due to the COVID scenario, but still almost we are halfway, 40. And Karnataka is leading solar generation, followed by Rajasthan and Tamil Nadu. And by 2030, we, means India, we wanted to have 40% of power from renewable energy resources like solar energy, wind energy, or small hydropower plants. With this, I thank you all for the patience hearing. And if you have any sort of a query related with this topic, I would be, very happy to answer you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Shafkat Mughal sir, for such a wonderful presentation and making this webinar so meaningful and interesting. Now, I would like to call Engineer Robin to propose the formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon to all. I feel honored and privileged to get the opportunity to propose a vote of thanks on this special day. Today, we have hosted an online session on solar energy technology. On this special day, I convey my regard and heartiest thanks to Engineer Shafkat sir for such a fruitful lecture. Thank you so much, sir. I would also like to thank Director YCT, Dr. Anup Kumar Srivastava, Engineer Dinesh Gupta, President IIT, Engineer Lavneesh Talwar, HOD Electrical Department, all faculty members and students for their support and participation. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.